Okay, to finish up Barded. So we learned already at the beginning that selecting good from bad or bad from good doesn't only apply to food, it applies to anything. And there's a lot of practical examples where the law of selecting a Barded would be connected. Some of them we mentioned in passing, but this is where, so to speak, it's discussed. So we learned you can't select cutlery, forks and spoons from knives if they're all mixed together. That means if you wash them and they're all mixed together and now you want to put them away, so you can't, whether after they drip dry or after you dry them together, so then you can't select a fork to put into the fork compartment and spoon. Why? Because you're not selecting for immediate use. But what happens though, if you wash, again, you're allowed to wash Shabbat, Friday night for Shabbos day. So what happens Friday night to Shabbos morning, you're washing the cutlery, and then you wash them, and then when you're drying them, you dry a fork by itself. Now you already took the fork, that you want, because that you want to dry. So now you are drying the fork, so once you have the fork in your hand, you can put it into the fork compartment. It's just if they're not separated in your hand, they're just mixed in the bin, and you just want to start separating them, that you're not allowed to do. Unless if they're all forks and all knives, and they're all the same type of knives and forks and spoons, so then there's no din of better, you can do it even for later use. Okay, next is, you mentioned clothing, what?
Pull out of the dishwasher, all mixed together.
So the only way you could do that, if you take them out of the dishwasher and you want to put them away in the compartments, okay, is throwing them on the table. Or yeah, but just turning it over might not separate them. You have to throw them, separate them on the table. Once they're separated, so then you can take. They're not mixed together anymore. The same thing we said with clothing. You can't select if you have clothing hanging. So you have a bunch of ties hanging, and Friday night you want to pick out a tie for Shabbos morning. Okay, so if they're all exactly the same black or white or yellow or green ties, you could do it. But if you have a rack, a tie rack, and you have 15, 20, 10, whatever it is, different ties, so when you take a tie, you're selecting the tie. Granted, it's what you want, so it's good, but you can only select it for immediate use. So therefore, you can do it Shabbos morning when you're going to get dressed, but you can't do it Friday night for Shabbos morning. The same thing, socks, if they're different color socks or shirts or suits and all that. We said even kids' clothing. If a little girl has a bunch of dresses and they're all hanging together and you want to take out a dress Friday night for Shabbos morning, you're not allowed to because, again, it's not for immediate use. It's for later use. Selecting Svarim, we also discussed. Selecting Svarim from a bookcase, okay? So he said you're not allowed to. Why? Because you're selecting. So even though it's good from bad, what you want is the good safer, but that you can only do for immediate use. So as we discussed the poskim, right? So what do? Let's say you have a bookcase full of different chumashim, but the room's dark, so you can't see which one's Bamidbar, Bereishis, Shmei. So what happens if you select the wrong one? So then all you have to do is open it up, look and read a pasuk or something. So then you're using it for immediate use. Then you could put it back, and again you could do something like that. In fact, there's a big there's an argument in halacha. What happens by mistake? I selected the wrong book, and I didn't open it up right away to look, or selected the wrong dress or whatever. Are you ever? Do you transgress the malach of murder or not? So some poskim say, yeah. Bottom line, you did the murder. You don't need it. You're not using it now. It's not for immediate use. You did murder. And other poskim say no. If you made a mistake, and by mistake you wanted to take out the right book, by mistake you took out the wrong book, because it's a mistake, you didn't transgress, because you really didn't select. You made a mistake. Now, what happens if you have, let's say, a pile of Sidurim, okay? Let's say people are very nice sometimes, after Kriyas HaTorah, they put back the Chumoshim. They collect the Chumoshim, or after davening, people collect the Sidurim, and then they put them back. So now, if I have a pack of Svarim, let's say they're not all the same. Let's say the ones, the English, Hebrew, Ashkenaz, Sfard, whatever it is. So now I have them piled one on top of the next. So again, because they're piled on one, I'm not selecting anymore. I'm taking off the top one. So if let's say I have a bunch of Sidurim in my hand, even if they're not exactly the same, if they're all the same Siddur, it's not a problem. There's no better on the same Siddur. But if you have different Sidurim, different colors, different English with English, without English, Sephardic, Ashkenazi, whatever it may be. So then again, it's not better. See, if they're lined up in a bookcase, then you're selecting one book from the next. But if they're on top of each other, then again, you're not actually selecting one book from a net. You're just taking book and put it back, so it's not better. So that wouldn't be a problem. Okay. So, selecting letters for type it's not very practical in our case.
You want to take socks from your socks drawer, and you're taking socks away so you get to the white.
Yeah, but you talk for immediate use? Yeah. Okay, we'll learn a different din now that will, in California it doesn't happen too often. In New York it happens a lot, or out east where it's cold during the winter. Not cold like here, it's 50 degrees, everybody's freezing. Talking when it's zero, below zero, with sucker cold. So people come, this happens every week. People come to a Shalom Zachar, okay? They take off the coats, they dump them on a bed, or on a couch, right? So now you have 30 coats.
Piled up.
Huh?
Piled up.
Piled up. Your coat is somewhere in the middle there. So now, I want to leave, and my coat is stuck somewhere, who knows where. So now the question is, how am I supposed to get my coat? Can I take off the coats in the pile until I get my coat? Is that allowed, is that not allowed? So most poskim hold in all cases in this thing, you're allowed to do it. Why? It's not selecting, it's like peeling a fruit. How do you get to your coat? You're taking off the outer leaves, the outer coat, so to speak. So then it's not a problem of Beder, because I'm not selecting my coat. That's the only way I can get to it. So I'm removal, again, Beder is not removal. Beder is selection, here I'm removing. There is an opinion, most poskim don't poskim like that, there is an opinion that says that you could only do it if you know really where your coat is, which is very unrealistic. So, but most poskim say, in all cases, you could remove the coat, again, because it's not buried, it's covering it, it's on top of it, so you can remove it. What?
So, if on Shabbos we have a group of utensils, and we want to put them away, and as they become available to our fingers on the right hand, one by one, we're putting the fork over here, the spoon over here, the fork over here.
No, that you can't do. If you're drying them, then
let's say they're dry, and you're just putting them away.
if they're separate, yes, you are, because if they're all mixed together,
right,
and I'm taking one out to put as a fork, and one as a spoon, I'm selecting.
but with a
No, see, I know what you're saying. You have a pack in your hand and you take out the first, no, because you're doing it to put it away. That's the selection. If you're doing it to dry, you're drying it. So then you're using it for something. Then, once it's in your hand already, you can put it away. Yeah. Yeah.
You can just slide it out.
Yeah. The problem, most coats in New York look alike.
Yeah.
Long, dark colored coats.
Mine is red.
Okay, that's good. No, but you're selecting what you want and you're doing it now for the game. I'll give you an example. If you have chess pieces, give you an example of what you're saying chess. If you have the chess set is in the box, yeah? Now you want to set up the game Friday night for Shabbos day. Now all the pieces are mixed together, so I'm going to take out the pawn and the queen and the bishop and the rook and the knight, whatever. So then you're selecting. But while they're on the board, I'm moving it, I'm picking the one I want, not the one I don't want. And it's immediate use. No, the burden in the Mishkan, they used to take out, when they made the samam, the ketores, the incense, they used to take, there was psalis, there was garbage in the mixture, so they had to take it out, so they would separate the bad from the good. Yeah, what did you want, Avi? Correct. You couldn't reset the game unless if you're playing a game. Doesn't mean the next minute. I mean, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You can't set it up for Friday night for Shabbos morning for Shabbos afternoon, or whatever. Because then it's not for immediate use. What?
Your baby is sick, and you need to give your medicine on Shabbos, and you need to give 4 ml. Can you measure 4 ml? I know this is more.
Nothing to do with better, but you can't measure. You can approximate. You're not allowed to measure medicine on Shabbos, unless if it's life endangering.
If I'm pouring and I'm looking at I can't look.
If you, let's say, have a bottle of liquid medicine, okay? So let's say you have to, whatever the measurement is,
4
yeah?
ml.
So you can't on Shabbos go like this, look in there when
It's in
it's...
a cup. It's in a cup. I'm pouring, and I need to stop at 4 ml. 5 ml.
No, if you pour into a spoon, that's not measuring. You're pouring into a spoon.
And the cup has measuring device.
You can't do that. Only you can approximate. So listen what I'm saying about this.
I have to pour it back.
Listen, what I'm saying about the syringe is, whatever, you just go like this. Let's say the medicine, the line is almost by the top. But you go like this, you're not looking to make exactly the measurement. You're not allowed to measure on Shabbos. Only for a mitzvah, not for medicine. That's life and danger. But if you take extra, you can pour it back. But you can't, if a spoonful is a spoonful. It's not a measurement.
I realized after I measured, I realized that I shouldn't have. Should I have poured it back and done it?
No. No. Maybe more. Okay.
Could you use the same principle of like throw all the pieces around and then set up a chess game? Even if you're not going to play?
For later?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but why would somebody do that? I mean,
Like the house decorating.
huh?
People have it set the whole time.
You mean it's always set up and they play the game and now they want to keep it set up for it's a furniture piece. You cannot do it unless if you want to throw the pieces over a table and now they're separated and now you're going to put each piece on the proper.
Like, actually throw it like in a way that it's just.
You have to throw it to break it.
Or you could separate them.
No, that's selection.
What? No, separate them without.
No, separate them. It says in halacha you have to actually throw it onto the table that they separate. Going like this is separation. You're separating. What do you think that is?
Well, it's not with any intent of one.
What are you intending?
Just they shouldn't be mixed. Nothing should be mixed together.
In other words, I'm doing like this, that they should be separated. That when you throw it on the table, you throw it on the table. It happens to become separated, but I'm not doing it. It's a big difference.
Is there any guideline with that? Because if you throw it, it could go everywhere, or you could just pour it on the ground, and it's also flat, so I could just pick it up from the ground. Is there a guideline on how?
Yeah, they cannot be mixed together. They have to be completely
It's
separated.
like an inch away from each other. Separate.
An inch away from each other is fine. But if they're now, what about half an inch? I mean, that's not the point. If the point is that it's done in a way that you're selecting the pieces, you can't. If they're separated, that you're not separating, I'm removing. I'll give you an example. Can have foods mixed together, okay? So they're all together. Like we said in the chont, you want to take out, you don't like the potato, you're going to take the potato out. So then I'm selecting the potato. Okay, but if you have, let's say we said before, let's say you have a bowl of soup and there's a matzah bowl, a knedel in the soup. Okay? When I take it out, nobody's saying I'm selecting the matzah ball. I'm removing the matzah ball. Removing, Bairid is not removing. Bairid is selecting. If it's very visible, noticeable, and you take it out, it's not selecting. Selecting is when things are mixed, and you're selecting one from the next. That's even the English word for selecting. There's the difference between removal and selecting. Removal is when they're separate. If I take out this bill, Shabbos said couldn't do it anyway. If I'm removing the bill from the pushka, I'm not selecting it, I'm removing it. But if all these bills are mixed, there should be a lot of hundreds in here, but anyway, let's say they're dollar bills, and I'm selecting now the $2 bill from the $1 bill, that's called selection. Because they're all mixed together.
The Lukutei Torah and the Torah over there, those two side by side, would that be selecting or taking?
So if it's very few, if it's two svarim in a bookcase, it's not selecting, because it's very few. We're talking when you have a whole shelf of svarim, and for instance, over there, yeah, okay, but it's the same Gemara, Ksubis and Sanhedrin. But if somebody, let's say, would be all different Gemaras, yeah, and then you're taking one Gemara from the next, that would be better. Machashin is no meister, mecheve, v'mayim, kim shivalag al teiro, and then Rakashi, Merodot, Geshboch, Zak,